All right, y'all. I'm joined here today by a very special guest. His name is Bitcoin Air. He is somebody who is a trader. He is a very early adopter of Bitcoin. And I was talking to him, and it turns out he's actually been into Bitcoin since 2009. So he's been there from the very beginning. He's currently a trader. He has some very interesting insights on the market. So I figured I'd bring him on the show. We'd have an interesting conversation. I think you guys will enjoy it. So thank you so much, Bitcoin Air, for being on the channel. I'm honored to have you here, man.
The honor is mine, Jason.
So yeah, so I was just wondering, man, if you could just walk us through, first of all, how did you get how did you get into Bitcoin so early? And then how did you transition into becoming a trader?
So it all started in Los Angeles. I was an East Coast kid, but I've been in LA over half my life. I came out here. I was doing film and TV, and I had done an off-Broadway show in New York. And I had come out to LA. I was doing some acting work and music work and things like that. And the Lord had blessed me with that, and the Lord had blessed me also. And by the way, people might have thought, one thing or another in the beginning, but let's get right to it. Um, I am not. I don't have long hair. I'm not crypto face, but I just wanted to reveal myself here. And then also, before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that this is not financial advice. So you definitely wouldn't take financial advice from a couple of guys looking like this on the internet, right? Shout out to Elon Musk in the chat. Elon, great to see you. Always great. Love your tweets.
Give us a tweet,
And
bro. We need a tweet right now.
we need a new tweet from you, Elon. Where you been? What are you doing?
Yeah,
So,
it's been a while.
started out, and this would have been February 20th, 2009, that I had an opportunity to meet a gentleman in Pasadena, California, which is a town in LA County, right next to LA. I had a friend who worked in the film business, and he was working on a show, a documentary for History Channel at the time. And he said, "Hey, I know this guy. He's a coder. He was doing some work with me on another project, and he's working on something amazing right now. Like, I think it's going to change the world." I said, "Oh, cool, right?" And he said, "You got to come meet this guy. You guys would, hit it off, and this is going to be a great thing." So I was doing some other work for the government at the time, and again, another backstory too. My father worked in DC over the years, and I have a family history and working for the U.S. government. I currently have a cousin as a general in Marine Corps, brothers and high up, and a lot of stuff going on. I've done work with them over the years. Anyway, so it kind of curtailed into this route, and got my Wrangler, drove up to Pasadena, met this gentleman, Asian American guy. He was American, no accent anyway, but he had this really nice pad. He brought me into his control room. He had multiple screens, multiple TVs, price actions, charts, coding software, editing software, video screens, a couple of instruments, a MIDI keyboard. And he told me about this new way to interact on the internet and this new way to do business. So having an entrepreneurial spirit myself, obviously, hey, let's see where this could lead to. So he did say this is, he said, I can sell you some Bitcoin. And I said, okay, yeah, bit, like a computer thing, right? So he said, and my friend said he did $25. I said, yeah, I could do a little more. He said, no, just $25. Gave me a thumb drive. He said, never, ever sell this. In that moment, it hit me because he was looking in my eyes, and nice guy. He said, never sell this. He gave me a thumb drive, some pleasantries. I probably asked him about his music or something. And, oh yeah, I do different things. So left the place. I had emailed with him a couple of times, like, what am I going to use this for? What's this, that? And he's like, working on something, this and this. few cryptic emails, and then probably 4 or 5 emails go unanswered from him for a couple of months and never saw him again. So the mythological folklore surrounding this gentleman in Pasadena, California, when I had first got into Bitcoin the end of February 2009, it's a monumental event in my mind, in my life. And it's a memory where it feels like yesterday, it seems like a dream. And I really hope that gentleman is still continuing to help change the world, whoever he may be and whoever he was. And with that being said, it's the most incredible time right now that we're alive to be experiencing the beginning of the greatest asset creation as it continues. Obviously, it's been around now 10 years strong, right? Bitcoin, and it's here to stay. And the big money knows it. So now it's the freedom fighters versus the big money. Can we all get along? Can we all work together? God is sovereign over all money. God is sovereign over all of this. And his crypto creation has taken off. And it's really is become a life-changing thing. And I always heeded that gentleman's words. That night was that night, winter month, 2009. Never sell this.
So you bought $25 worth of Bitcoin in 2009 and you've never sold it.
Mm-hmm.
And how much was a Bitcoin worth back then? Like a fraction? It was like a cent, right? Was it even?
Much lower than that. It was like
man.
0.00059.
So that's wow. That's insane, man. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So you have this this massive crypto portfolio, and now you're actually a trader. You trade Bitcoin and other cryptos.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you kind of transition into the world of trading and technical analysis? Because I'm sure you weren't into it back in 2009, were you?
No, I wasn't. So I've been traditionally working in various jobs throughout the years, but not trading. Always kind of had, some favorite films like Wall Street and things like that, but always thought it was a cool thing. Never got into it until a couple of years ago when I was talking to somebody on Telegram, and I said, we were talking about cryptocurrency, and they said, oh yeah, well I started trading, and there's it's pretty cool, and it's kind of like, okay, and then you kind of research it a little bit and look into it, and obviously guys have been trading on the Dow and the gold and silver oil for decades and years, and it's like, oh, you can trade crypto. Okay, cool. It's a thing. Obviously, I kept up a bit with the price fluctuations here and there. Certainly, it was interesting in 2017 when the price went up to 19K. You see what you got. Cool. Never sell. It drops back down. Okay, and could see how volatile it could be.
Right.
And even till today, you ask people about cryptocurrency, are you into it? Are you doing it? And whether it's the media or whatever it is, people are hesitant in some ways that don't maybe know much about it, or maybe they're not that interested, but they're hesitant in some ways about it based on saying, oh, it's just very unreliable. It's very volatile. And you hear that a lot. You hear people that are into crypto and they say, my mom thinks I'm crazy, or my friends think I'm, going to go broke, and they text me, oh, your price dropped 10K a coin. So are you all right?
Yeah, that's so funny,
people,
man. That happens to me all the time. People are like, oh, are you guys okay? Like, I heard crypto dumped. I'm like, yeah, I shorted it. We're doing all right.
Right? That's the thing too. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, the Big Short, the movie The Big Short, right? You've probably seen it. And true story, right? From '08, the housing market. So there's money to be made on shorts, and we love shorting.
Yeah, volatility.
That's
That's where you want to be if you're a trader, man.
So
so how did you get into trading? Because that's pretty cool to have such a large portfolio and also be a trader. That is a very interesting situation to be in.
Well, and then I just I've kept my coin, and I just bought more and using that to trade with.
Mhm.
So talking to this person about trading, looking at the charts more and more and more on a daily basis, and just, feeling the charts, feeling the price action, doing research on the computer, on the internet. Um, I actually got my mom into it. I know I mentioned, oh, mom thinks, my mom loves it too. I got her into it. And it was interesting because she was, this would have been about a year and a half ago. So kind of getting in on that bull run, right? With had the Corona dump and then kind of been taken off since then. So she got it. And then I said, I think I'm gonna get into trading. And she's like, okay. And I think that's a big thing when people say I need to get into trading. I think traditionally people are like, you know, they think of Wall Street guys and they think of guys that, are jumping out of buildings, or guys that get in deep trouble, or guys that make a lot of money and then it gets to their head and they kind of get in trouble at some point, right? It's got that mystique to it. But lo and behold, people like yourself, Jason, build a great community. You've got a solid family. This is something that is an acquired skill. You're not just throwing darts at a board. This isn't going in and pulling a lever in Vegas. It's a learned skill. It's something that you can do for the rest of your life. It's something that, like you said the other day, Jason, on one of your streams, or one of your amazing streams, about who wouldn't want to do this, right? Who wouldn't want to be able to go out, have their family go out, farm, sit in the tractor. All you need is your phone and an internet connection. You can be your own boss and make money and be a provider for your family. Who wouldn't want to do that? So
Right.
it's definitely a great skill, and it really parlayed from there. I said, I'm going to get into trading. I was talking to someone on that, and then ironically, it was my mom who said, check out this guy, Jason Casper. And I said, and then you got that thing in the back of your mind, like, you gotta listen to mom sometimes, right? So checked out Jason Casper, and you were you had such a great way of teaching, a great way of explaining it, a great leadership quality to you, and a great community, great videos, and an absolutely stellar course, the best in the world. Looked at that, and it's funny, right? A guy like me who's like just happened to be like, hey, come meet this guy and get this stuff, and then never sell it, and I have it, and then I find you, and then we're here trading, and I've been at it for a good amount of time now, pretty solid. So it's kind
Nice,
of
man.
yeah. And I still, write scripts, do film and TV stuff, still have some other things that I do work wise, but it's definitely been something that is another blessing, where God has been thrusting me into the world of cryptocurrency.
Nice, man. Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to get your perspective on the markets, man, because I know you were sharing with me, you have some interesting projections and stuff, and you do post a lot of TA. I see you posting in there, and so where do you think we're heading right now? Because we had the dump from the all-time high, and now we have, honestly, if I was going to be honest with you, just objectively, it looks like we had a relief rally. We've rejected off of a very important resistance, the golden pocket of the whole move. And we've got some pretty bearish things on the higher time frames, right? I mean, the money flow on those higher time frames on market cipher is looking pretty bad. We've definitely got bearish divergences on the 3-day, on the 1-day. It was a pretty hard rejection. So why don't we pull up the charts, man? I want to get your take, and maybe you could share, your macro perspective here. Because for me, honestly, at this point, I lean bearish, but I have to say I'm agnostic. Like, I don't know where we're going from here. So yeah, let's get your take on it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I had connected about a month ago, and we were talking about, where's this going, what's going to happen. And again, we all want to know what's the price action going to do. We know that it's bearish overall. We know that Bitcoin's going to be a fantastic, and Ethereum too, a fantastic store of value
You mean
for the
bullish,
years
right?
to come. Bullish. I'm bullish. Oh yeah,
Okay.
long term, absolutely. Again, seeing this pullback is great, right? We want that. We didn't want this thing to shoot up to 65. Probably would have just dumped back down to 30 pretty quick again. So we follow the markets, right? It's the best thing is to make a plan, execute the plan as you teach. But as you can see here, just in this last drawdown from the 7th, in our point of control here, we kind of rejected off of that. We've come down, we're kind of coming back up again right here. But if we look, and again, if we get back to talking about bullish overall, sure, because look at this, right? We starting out on Bitcoin, and this is going back, they've got this back to summer of 2010. If you bought Bitcoin here and you dropped down, well, guess what? You went back up. If you bought it here and then you dropped down, you've come up. If you bought here and we've gone down, we've come up. Same with here. So here we are now. This was 65. We've come down. Okay. A lot of people have bought up here. A lot of people, and this is what's happening, right? People are trying to say, you know, let's shake out the retailers. Let's big money's coming in, and this is what happened. But again, there is obviously control in markets, but there's a lot of people involved. There's 30 million United States citizens that own crypto, and people that are actively trading around the world 24/7. So what we see here is a nice correction. Now, again, are we looking at something that's going to end into a bear market here? Or do we go back to something like, look at the past, like 2013, 2017 bull run markets, and say, okay, this looks, and this isn't now, right? This was back in 2013. So we look at this and say, we came up 1,000%, right? And then from June 2013 all the way to November, we've kind of petered along and consolidated for a while. And then we shot way up, all the way up, and hit that peak at the end of November. Now we go from 2013, we fast forward here. To our 2017 run, and you could say, hey, is this, lower this down, all right, baby. Look at this here. Now people are going to argue that we look at this two ways. Are we here now? And this is 2017, and then we're going to get this, or are we here now and we're going to get this? I would argue that we're here right now. We're here right now. I've looked at both sides, and I do hear the argument saying the reason why we're probably here is because we've never had a larger than 50% correction in order to get that next all-time high. So then therefore we had this drop here. So they're comparing now to this this high, then we come down, consolidate, spread this out for you. And then we have this high, which is what we would have just had, the 52.9.
Right.
And then we come down, and now we're here coming down.
Yeah, and I even think, honestly, can you pull your fib out from the all-time high to the first dump there?
On this 2017?
No, yeah, from 20K down to that first dump. Did we reject off the golden pocket there? No, not quite. Not quite. Okay, interesting. For some reason, I thought we did, but I guess I'm not remembering correctly.
Well, let's fast forward to today. Let's pull a fib from today. Right, and everyone's very your new baby boy. His nickname's Little Fib.
Little Fib Casper, yep.
Little Fib Casper. Spread this out for everybody here. So yeah, and look where we've come up to, right?
Yeah, right to.
It kind of did jump up above that 618 a bit. It tried, right? It tried, and it's rejected. So we had Now, again, when you look at 2017 and we had this high and we came down and we went back up again, right? What we had before was just going down like this, right? We didn't have this, right? And again, yes, I understand. So we're printing, high, lower high, lower high. But what this is, and if we don't have to go back to it, we remember it back in the 2013, 2017 chart, we had this bump before we had the massive run up.
Right.
So if we squish this down, right, you could say, okay, this is, here we are, 2013, 2017. This could be either one, and then we had the shoot up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this here's a daily chart. Here's where we are now. Okay, here's our 200-day moving average. We couldn't get down below it. Then we broke down below it on Friday, which, there goes our Friday pump. Throw that out the window, right? So, and now we're kind of getting rejected off of it a little bit here. We've got to get back up above that. Now, if we close a 12-hour or a daily or a 3-day under 44K in the next few days, then we're probably going to come lower. This yellow line I drew about August 15th, about a month ago, kind of just based on my TA, where the price is going. We were getting rejected here. We did pop up, right? So my white line would be kind of that 618. We did pop that, rejected. Now look what happened. We came down a little bit earlier than I thought. And again, when we always map this out, right, we start going, and then that, and then that. So obviously it's like, sure, I could have, it's this, but it's kind of like just kind of getting that prediction price. But I did predict that we're going to come down, and it's followed that path a bit here to where we're coming down. We're going to, again, there could be a hard rejection under the 200, or we get the bounce off the 44 and we rise up. What I do think is going to happen is we're going to come back down to the 40, 41, 42 range, and then work our way up from there to an all-time high. I did have I made a projection way, let me get the daily on this chart here. As you can see, a lot of support and resistance lines.
I don't see any, actually.
So here we are. What is this? Well, this is the 89, 667 and 69 cent prediction that I had for December 15th, 2021. This was back, I did this in June. So yeah, it would have been earlier June. I kind of laid this out. And I'll tell you that a month ago when we were talking, we said, well, I thought about maybe, I changed my mind. I think maybe 60 is the high, then we're going to come down again because we had rejected so hard off 65. And then, is this something that's mental for people? Is this something that's kind of a mentally, emotionally driven prophecy? So everybody was so downtrodden with the rejection of 65 and the crash. Is everyone going to be ready to sell then? I don't know. I don't think that matters anymore. I think that if we look in the history of Bitcoin, I think that we are, and again, we've got something like this, right, where we look at the stock to flow model. So we say, simply look at colors. Sure. Okay. So we got blue, red, orange, maybe a little consolidation. That's what we're doing here. Of course, it looks different. Of course it is, but it is following similar patterns and traits. Even here, this didn't have as much of a rejection down as we had now, but it looks like that according to this model now, perhaps it becomes null and void. I think that if by November 1st we are below 52, then then we probably won't get that 100K. But right now I'm thinking that we're going to get to, I'm sticking with my 90K mid-December, and you're going to see this shoot up. It's going to be the yellow, then we're going to go down and get that green going in through next year. But not to say that and I'm going to say this now here, that we are going to get a March and April like we did last year. And that's next March and April is when you're going to see the 200K price. And then we're going to go into a similar market like we had this year. And of course, you know, we look at something like
that's your overall prediction.
That's my overall prediction, correct, for the price. Now, of course, we say, well, we just follow the market. We long and short. We make money when we long. We make money when we short. If this thing's going to go down, if this thing plays out like it did in 2013 and 17, then we're going to see, you know, much higher prices toward the end of the year. Of course, people say, well, it's different now, so it's definitely going to go up because there's much more money involved. People are pouring billions in this. Countries are adopting all that kind of talk. So does that matter? Does this play out more like it does throughout history? I think yes. I think that we had more of a 50% dip since the 65K, but we rallied up and we've tested that new high, and now we're just kind of consolidating down. Some of the market makers going to shake out some weak hands. There isn't too much fun in the market now. I think that I think this thing's going to have the boost. I'm telling you now, it's gonna have that boost. Now, if we look at the if we go down to our beautiful hash blues and we see what happens after these prints each time, and yes, we did have an increase in price, but you can look right here, say just with the last one, right? We can go back to all these, but just with the last one, we've come up, we've come down, we've come much farther up. Let's look at by how much when we hit the bottom. And we can assume we can use 40 on this, right? So we came up 100%, and that's just that first, and we went up further after that. But here we go here with let's take it from 40. We'll take it from 40. And we'll say we're going to come up that 100%. And this is going to be our first high. That's 80. That would reflect this high here. We're going to get 80. So then how much higher did we come up from the 80? We went up another 11%. That's going to put us really close to 100K. That's what's happening. That's what's going to happen coming up. This is going to be a very fun Thanksgiving, Christmas time for many people. Now, of course, except for those guys that get stuck in the shorts, you know, if they're still in the short from 52. And again, look, overall,
yeah, I'm still short from 3K, man, from the Corona dump. I'm still in that short, man.
You know,
I just keep adding margin to avoid liquidation, you know.
And you're a very successful trader. You know how to move money. You've got plenty of resources to pool. You're the only person in the world that has a -1. You have below 1 leverage on a leverage. So you figure that out. And one day we'll all get a video.
I've got negative leverage
of how you figure that out to where your liquidation price is $6 million. So you've got some room, in case Elon says, well, I just spent all my money I just spent it all on Bitcoin, and then the next day he sold it all. And we might get back to your 3, and then you might make a video and say, hey guys, I made $10 on my short from 3K from 5 years ago.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the channel. I appreciate your perspective, because it's rare that you find somebody who's been in this for so long from the beginning. So you have a perspective that not many people really have. I was wondering, you do have a YouTube channel, right?
I do. It's a Crypto Prophet. I've sparingly posted some videos on there. I'm gonna be doing a lot more coming up. Definitely take inspiration from you on that. Where I'll talk about more of these things, like the Gaussian patterns, where we're at now. Of course, and again, when we're talking the end of November, we're going to get these, kind of month or two consolidation periods where we could go kind of sideways here for a bit, range between that 40 and 50 before we.
I love ranges too. I love sideways markets.
And you're a pro. you love trading on all these kind of ranges, and
It's easier, honestly, in my opinion, to trade in a range because the signals are very clear. Bearish divergence means we're going to come down. Bullish means we'll come up. In these crazy bull trends, if you miss a good long, it's almost like you have to FOMO in somewhere, but you try and make it not be at the top.
yeah, exactly. So sure, we have a lot of people that FOMO in. So you're shorting the bottoms and long in the tops, and it's a tough game. But look at Jason's course. He's got everything in there that's gonna help you to only risk a very small percentage, 1-2% of your portfolio and your trading account. Things in there that's going to help you not FOMO in, be a patient trader, make a plan, have take profit set up, essentially be able to always have a winning trade, essentially. And I would say that that it's going to get you within a month or two if you put in the work, and it really doesn't last too long. But it's essentially, it's a PhD in trading. You'll be 80% wins.
It's
80%.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it'll definitely help.
It'll definitely help. Thank you so much,
And,
Jason. Thanks for having me on the channel. Let's leave with this one thing, because God created the moon. It stabilizes the earth, gives us a lot of reliability over the years for mankind, and we can say, well, on our full moons we pump, on the new moons we dump, on the moons we pump, moons we dump, on the full moons what did we do? It was a little late. Is this voided? Is this null and void? Is it something to look at? Probably not, but it's fun. But yeah,
it is interesting, right?
Look forward to the next video where we can get into more, and always a pleasure, Jason. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Bitcoin Air, it's been great, guys. I'm going to leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description, and yeah, thank you guys. May God bless you.